Hi guys, welcome back with me. Let me introduce myself. My name is Anjani. I'm from English Study Program. Today we are going to discuss about linguistics. So guys, do you know about linguistics? What is linguistics? If you don't know, let me tell you. Linguistics is the scientific study of language. It involves an analysis of language form, language meaning, and language in context, as well as an analysis of the social, cultural, historical, and political factors that influence language. So, I want to explain about 5 material. First is principle of modern linguistics. 2 is phonetic. 3 is phonology, morphology, and in the end, I will explain about syntax. Principle of modern linguistics. So what is it? Structuralism is a term used in linguistics referring to a theoretical approach to the analysis of language that describes linguistic items in terms of structures. Principle of modern linguistics have principle. These principles are present with short explanation below. 1. Linguistics is descriptive, not prescriptive. It means that linguistics describe the rules and facts of language exactly as they find them without making judgment. 2. Priority of the spoken language. It is one of the main principles of modern linguistics that spoken language is more basic than written language. And then 3. All language are equal. For a linguist, all language serve as the data for objective study. Thus, it was common earlier to call certain language primitive in relation to the cultural and economic development of certain societies. It was determined that every existing natural language is a highly developed system and its structure does not directly correlate with the stage of social development of that speech community. And then paradigm and syntagmatic relation of linguistic unit. A linguistic unit enters into relation of 2 different kinds which identify it in the language system. And then a linguistic unit enters into a syntagmatic relation with the other elements of the same level with which it occurs and which make it context. From principle of modern linguistics, there are functionalism or the previous school. Functionalism is represented mostly by the works of the previous school. In linguistics, functionalism is based on a movement continuing the tradition of Saussurian structuralism. The main claim of this approach is that language is a system of functional related units. Claiming that language is often used for maintaining social relations, e.g. greetings, leave-taking, comments about the weather, etc. The previous school also emphasized the distinction between the phonetic and the phonological analysis of sound, introducing the notion of phoneme and distinctive feature. And 3. In modern principle of modern linguistics, there is Generative grammar. The term is used to refer to the theory of language developed by Noam Chomsky. His language theory revolutionized linguistics in 1957 when his book Synthetic Structure was published. He drew a distinction between linguistic competence and performance. A speaker's linguistic competence is that part of his knowledge of the native language system which enable him to make an infinite number of sentences. And there is cognitivism. The last linguistic school of thought on our list emerged in 1950s as a reaction to generativism. In basic terms, cognitivism says that language emerges from human cognitive process. It challenges universal grammar by suggesting that grammar is not something that all humans can inherently understand, but rather it is learned by using language. In this sense, it is a bit similar to functional. However, the main focus of cognitivism is how language is based on meaning that the mind creates. 2 is phonetic. Phonetic is the branch of linguistics which studies the characteristic of speech sound. Divide into 1. Articulatory phonetic or whose talk. 2. Auditory phonetic or whose hear. 3. Acoustic or whose receive the information. Individual speech are called segments. All the speech sounds are classified into consonant and vowel. Classified into 1. Bilabal, produced with the lips close together or touching. 2. Labiodental, uttered with the principation of the lip and teeth. Example like V or F. 3. Dental, involve the tongue tip making contact with the upper teeth. Form a concision. 4 is alveolar. 5 is palatal. 6 is pharyngeal. 7 is glottal. And the manner of articulation, there is 1 is stops, 2 fricatives, and 3 affricates. The English vowels are classified into 1. Simple vowel or monophthongs and 2. diphthongs. And 3 is morphology. What is morphology? Morphology is the study of the internal structure of words and forms, a core part of linguistic study. And what is a word? Word is smallest independent units of language. Independent 1. Do not depend on other words. 2. Can be separate from other units. 3. Can change position. And then example. The man looked at the horses. S is the plural marker, depend on the noun horse to receive meaning. Horses is a word, can occur in other position or stand on its own. E.g., the horse looked at the man. What is the man looking at? It is horses. Words are two but independent signs. They can be separated from other words and move around in sentence. and the smallest units of language, since they are the only units of language for which this is possible. And then morpheme. In morphology, there is morpheme. So morph is the actual form of the word. Morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit of morphology. There are two types of morpheme divided to E. Free morpheme, B. Bound morpheme. So what is free morpheme or stem or base word? It's a simple word consisting of one morpheme, e.g. house, work, high, child, verb. They are words in themselves. B. Bound morpheme. Morphemes that must be attached to another morpheme to receive meaning, e.g. unkindness. Un and ness are the bound morphemes, requiring the root kind to form the word. So conclusion, example of words such as learn, learns, learn, and learning show a relationship in the form and a meaning of kind that is systematic because similar patterns such as this word always exist in English verbs. One of the subfiles in linguistics that deals with the pattern is called morphology. Four is phonology. Phonology explores sound type, which includes speech sound variant when we actually speaking. In phonology, there is phoneme. Phoneme is a central term distinguishing sounds unit. And two, there is allophonics. Allophonics is a variation of predictable phonetic in phoneme. 3. There is complementary distribution. Phoneme distinction are checked using the minimal pair test. 4 is phonotactic, possible sequential arrangement of phonological units in a language. Conclusion in phonology is each phoneme in a language can be described holding a set of features for the phoneme. And last one is syntax. In linguistics, the word syntax comes from Greek, which is a combination of syn words, which means together, and the word taxis, which means series, sequence. So syntax is one of the branches of linguistics that studies the rules that determine how words from parse from sentence. Etymologically, the syntax term is putting together words into group of words of sentence and group of words into sentence. It examines how sentences are formed, and language users use a special variation that allow forming element in sentence. In syntax, there are several parts of the sentence structure that the writer will explain. First is subject, verb, object, complement, and adverb. Okay, thank you. I'm finished to explain 5 materials of linguistics. Okay, I finished to explain the 5 materials about linguistics. I was do my best, so I'm so sorry if I made mistake. Thank you for watching. See you.